So today I want to just make a quick review again of one phase AC circuits. So you might have already studied this, so there is nothing new. So have you already studied this? Did you come across AC circuits before in some other courses? Yes or no? So you might be already knowing about some resistance and reactance and capacitance and this kind of problems with that, and so it will be a nice review just to go through quickly some of these. So what I was thinking was that I'll not start talking about what is AC and what is the R and then what is L and all that regular stuff. So I wanted to start with some problems, and then we will quickly try to solve some of these problems, and then we'll try to see. So hopefully I wanted to also get some little difficult problems so that it will be like a good review rather than just solving some known things. Okay. So what I want to do is I will write down the questions one by one, and then maybe you try to solve it. You can discuss with your friends, and then you try to solve it, and then maybe I will give you some 2 minutes, 3 minutes time, and then later on we'll all try to solve it together. Now I also did not solve some of the problems. I just liked the questions from somewhere, and then some questions which I was also thinking, so like that I put. So today sometimes we may get stuck, so which is a good thing. We can always resolve it later. So first one will start with the easy question. So but then as we go forward, we'll try to go for little more difficult questions. And any place, anytime you find it that you don't understand, you can stop me and you can ask, which is a good thing because the same doubt may be there for 5 different people. So at least the doubt will get cleared and like that. So I'll go with the first question. So I'm writing the question. So this might be very familiar to you. Sine. So this is a voltage that is given to you, and then the current is also given. So the question is like this: find V maximum, I maximum, VRMS, IRMS, and then V comma I in polar form, V comma I in rectangular form, okay, and then one thing is you take V as reference, okay, and then the question is it capacitive or inductive? So let me just verbally put the question also. Assume that there is a AC circuit and the input voltage is like that, input current is like that. Given the input voltage and input current, the question is this thing. So these are all the questions. Okay. So just take 2 minutes to work it out, and then we'll compare the answers. I'll just take this out. I just want to see. Visible. Okay, last 1 minute or last half minute, I'll say. So we already spent more than 2 minutes. So, so stop your discussions and let's do the class discussion. So I was hearing some of the points, some of the words that you were speaking and all. So first question I want to ask you is not the final answer, but what were you discussing actually? Like what were the points that came for discussion? What was the difficult part or interesting part about this? Like you were asking each other, what were you asking in this question? Yes? Leading and lagging. Okay. So about what was the question actually? Like that is a question here. Is it leading or lagging? Is it inductive or capacitive? What? Like what was it difficult? Where did you find it difficult? That's what I'm asking. Cause. So I heard somewhere somebody is, you are saying cause, right? So there is a cause here. So how to deal with the cause? You know, that was the one of the discussion points. Okay. How to deal cause. Okay. Next, is there any other point that came for discussion? What is leading? What is lagging? What is rectangular? Like did you like suddenly you felt like okay what is this, like you had some doubts or some discussion, did I, is this all the things, is there any other things? Let's listen to the answers. What are the answers? What is Vmax? 100, 141, okay, 141.4. So can anybody tell why it is 141.4? So here this is the directly given. So the sign of anything is varying between +1 and -1, and when it is +1 it is this value. So that is maximum. So minimum is -141.4, that is okay. So Imax same 11.31 because cost value is also varying between maximum and minimum. So that is easy. So what about RMS value of V? 100. So how do you get the RMS value? Yeah, so I don't want to waste more time on that. Maximum value divided by √2 is the RMS value. Okay, why is it and all that things is more basic, so you can you have to find out on your own. And what is IRMS? How much? Yeah, so this 11.31 divided by square root of 2. So did someone calculate this? Okay, 8. So maybe yeah. So this is about this. So now let's work on this polar form. So how do you represent V in polar form? So if there is cos, what to do? Is that your question? Yeah, so okay, the polar form is something like amplitude and angle. So strictly speaking, it is amplitude and angle, but let's say that it's a common practice to use RMS value and angle, not the amplitude and angle. So we'll use RMS value. Strictly speaking, it is amplitude and angle, but then in practical things we use RMS value and angle. So so V will be V RMS and then its phase or angle. So if I use 0 as reference, then this is +30 because sign it's already there. So this will be 100 and then 30 degrees. This is the case where V itself is the 0 is the reference and V is according to that. So let's keep it like that for the time being. Question is now, what is I? So how did some of you try to address this? 60? Okay, you convert cos into, so this I can write it 11.31 sine of omega t plus 90 minus 30. So, and then this will become 60 plus 60. So then you can write it here. So this will be RMS 8 and then 60. Okay. Is that clear? So this is something like this. How do you remember this, or how do you worry about this to not to confuse in the exam and then make it wrong or something? So you just remember this one, like you have this sine starts from 0 and then this is sine, and then cos will start from here and then this is cos. Cos 0 is 1 and then cos this is 90 or pi by 2. This is now sine becomes 1 and cos becomes 0. Okay. What is a polar form? In polar form, what you try to do is you take the value is 0. So if you have a shadow of the sine waves on a vertical line, so at t equal to 0, so you have this value should be 0. So this will be sine and this will be cos at t equal to 0. So at t equal to 0, if anything is sine, then you make it horizontal. At t equal to 0, if it is cos, you start with vertical. So like that. So now here if you see cos minus 30. So cos is vertical. So minus 30 with that is like this. So this will 30 will come back. So this will be 60. So that's how you can do. So if you like if you follow this, fine. Otherwise you can use this method. So we don't want to go much into discussion about that. Okay. So but then this is not our final answer, because here this is all considering 0 as reference. So if I want to take V as a reference, then this will be V will be 100 0 degrees. So V is coming back by 30 degrees. So this also will reduce by 30 degrees. So I will be 8 30 degrees. So this is the V and I with V as the reference. That is what is like asked in the question. So now if I want rectangular form, how will you get the rectangular form? So now I will draw the diagram for this. So this is V 0 degrees. So this is and then this is 8 30 degrees. This is I. So the x-axis is 100 for this, and then y-axis is 0 for the V. It's projection to the x-axis. So this will be 8 into cos 30. So cos 30 is like something 0.866, and then into 8, if you multiply, it will be some value. So 8 into cos 30 plus j. So this will be 8 into sin 30, which is 4, because sin 30 is 0.5. So this is this one. Now the question is it capacitive or inductive? That is the final question. With that we will complete this. So very good. I heard two answers. One is inductive, one is capacitive. So which one is correct? So is it a capacitive circuit or an inductive circuit? So look at this diagram, you will find the answer. V is here and then I is ahead of V. So this direction is leading and this direction is lagging. So I is leading, therefore it's a capacitive circuit. Okay, so it is capacitive because I lead. Now some people can argue, what if I look at this one I and then V is lagging, therefore it is inductive. So whether it is leading or lagging, always you should find out V as the reference and then find out where is I. With reference to V, if I is leading, then it is capacitive. With reference to V, if I is lagging, then it is inductive. Okay. So this is the first question, which is the easiest question for today. So let's go to the second one. Okay. So I'll just write down the question here, and then we'll also go a little faster. This again very simple. So in a circuit, I have nodes 0 node, A node and B node. So 3 nodes are there somewhere in the big circuit. Okay. So then VA is equal to 120 45 degrees. VB is equal to 100 minus 15 degrees. This is in volts, this is in volts. And then VBA. What is voltage of, like, I'm talking about the notation actually. What is VBA? So yes, VBA is VB minus VA. So can you quickly solve it and then see what happens? So if someone got the answer, you can just announce the answer. I'll write it down. Okay, you might also have to bring calculators to do this kind of calculation quickly. So yeah, I think this approach is better actually. Let's see. So I'll just quickly solve the thing. So just take a x-axis and y-axis. So the first one is VA, which is 120 45 degrees. So I'll write a 45 degree line, and the length is 120. So and then this is 100 minus 15. So this length is 100, and then this angle is minus 15. Okay. So for the first one, what is the x-axis? 120 into cos 45, which is 120 into 0.707. So 120 into root 1 by root 2. So this is the x-axis for VA, and what is the y-axis for VA? Same. So 120 by root 2. So VB, what is the x-axis for VB? 100 into cos 15, because 15 cos is to the x-axis. So this will be 100 into cos 15. Okay. And what is the y-axis of this one? Because it is going down, and then this is sine. So I can write 100 into sine 15 with a minus sign, because it is going down. Okay. Now I want what? I want VB minus VA. So if you want VB minus VA, then this minus this, so you put a minus here, and then add the x and y. So add the x, so you will get this minus this. So this can be done in the calculator. So some number, this can be done again. So both are minus, so you put a minus and then add both of them, and then you will get this. So once you do these two steps, you will get two numbers. That will be your answer in the rectangular form. Then you can always convert it into polar form. Okay. So somebody want to try, or shall we go to the next problem? There is one other way. If I want to do VB minus VA, I can also do VB plus minus VA. So what is minus VA? You take this VA which is 45 degrees 120 like this. So just take the opposite of that. So this is again 45 degrees and then this is 120. So then you add these two vectors. So how do you add two vectors? So if I add this and this, so then it will be something like a parallelogram kind of thing. So something like this. So it will come something like this. So this is your VBA. Okay. So what I am expecting is that since it is in the third quadrant, both are negative. So that's what we see here. I think this is more and this is less. So this will be negative, that will be negative, both are negative. Okay, again, this is all you already seen. We are just doing review. So, review is something like before you want to learn something more difficult, you'll start by just simple stretching or jogging kind of thing. So, that's what we are doing today. All right. So, shall I go to the next problem, or you want to have any discussion, questions about this? Anybody? So, let's go to the third one. So, I'll write it here again. Okay, third one. So, load is 10 megawatts. So, suddenly we are jumping from small circuits to very large circuits. Load is 10 megawatt at 0.6 power factor lagging. So, this is the load. So, the question is draw power triangle. So, what is power triangle? It is just nothing but showing P, Q and S. Okay. Active power, reactive power and apparent power. There is a triangle which shows all. That is power triangle. You have to draw the triangle. Now, this is first question, and then another question is rating of capacitor connected in parallel okay, to improve power factor to 0.85 lag. So for that load, I want to connect one capacitor and then improve the power factor to 0.85. What is the rating of that capacitor? That is the question. Again take couple of minutes, discuss. Is the question clear? No, I still. So, okay, let's get back to the problem here. So I hope, when you people are discussing, you're discussing this only, not discussing any other outside things. So first question you might be asking is, what is this triangle? I don't know what is this triangle. So I'll quickly give you this one. So you might have already seen this. The x-axis is the resistance and then y-axis is the reactance. So if that is the case, so this is R and X. So resistance in ohms and then X is also in ohms, and So what is the impedance? So if you want to find the impedance, you can just join this, and then this is the impedance. This is 90 degrees. So therefore your impedance is Z square equal to R square plus X square, and then you can take the square root and then find out the impedance. Okay. So this you already know what is the impedance. So why we draw this triangle is that instead of writing this formula, if I draw in the shape of triangle, then it is easy to understand and then get the correct formula. Okay. This is called impedance triangle. So let me write that. So this is called impedance triangle. So what happens is this R and X are in series. So the same current is flowing in the R and the same current is flowing in the X also. So I can multiply R with I and the same X with also I. So it will be the same triangle multiplying just the scaling of the triangle. So I'll get like this, the same triangle. So in this case, this will be Z into I, and then this will be R into I, and then this will be X into I. So what is R into I? This is VR, voltage of resistance, voltage across the resistance, and this is Vx, this is voltage across the, or we use VL because if it's an inductance circuit, then voltage across the inductance. Okay, and this is your supply voltage itself, Vs, the total supply voltage. Okay, it's simple, just multiply by I all sides. So again, now I can write what is your supply voltage is nothing but square root of VR square plus Vx square. Okay, so if you know these two values, then you can find Vs. If you know Vs and Vr, you can find Vx, Vs square minus Vr square under square root, and if you know 2, you can find the third one. This is called voltage triangle. Okay, and then again you can do the same thing because it's the same current is flowing in all the three things. So again multiply by current, then you will get VR multiplied by I. Okay, or it will be I square into R, which is your actual P. So this is your active power, then V L into I. This is your reactive power, or it is I square into X, and then this will be your Vs into I, or this is your S, actually its notation is capital S, or this is I square into Z or Z. This is the power triangle. So S equal to P square plus Q square under root, and then this is the power triangle. Okay. Now in this power triangle, you can also write something like this in like R plus Jx, and then V equal to Vs equal to Vr plus J VL, and we using J, P plus JQ and so on. Now look at the question. Load is 10 megawatt at 0.6 power factor lagging. What is the power triangle? Okay. So since it is 10 megawatt, already P is 10. So I can write this is 10 megawatt P. So what is this angle? This angle I want. So cos inverse of 0.6. Okay. So cos inverse of 0.6. So how much is cos inverse of 0.6? I think it comes to around 53 degrees or something. So then what is this one? So if I want to find first of all this one, S. So what is S by P? Sorry, P by S. P by S is nothing but cos, because adjacent side by hypotenuse. Okay, so 10 by S is 0.6. So S will be 10 by 0.6. So that will be how much? 1 point, so 100 by 6, 40, yeah, 16.67 something. Okay, so this is 16.67. What is the unit for that? This is megawatts. This will be MVA, megavolt amperes. And this one, 16.67 square minus 10 square under root, and then you will find something. Yes. Thank you so much for asking the first question. Yeah, go ahead.
You have given load as 10 megawatts. So
Yes.
if you are considering it as peak because you are telling megawatt.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will write it PA.
Yes. So that is the indication. When somebody says 10 megawatt, they already mean that it is P. Okay.
If anybody gives me in terms of watts, I would take it as actual.
Yes. So I hope you heard the question. The question was, how do you know that it is P? Because the units, megawatt is given. Normally what happens is, let's say a transformer which is rating is 15 MVA is at full load. Something like that will be given. Some machine is rating is 15 MVA and it is at full load. At the time you have to consider it as a S equal to 15 MVA. If they say transformer of 15 MVA is at half full load, at the time you have to consider 7.5 MVA, which will be this one, and then some other information will be given to find the other things. All right. Did you complete the problem? Okay. This. This is a big one now. How do you improve the power factor to get it? So I think we need this value also. I think this will be 8. Because if one is 0.6, the other will be 0.8, and then 0.8 into, is that correct? Someone want to calculate this? What is this Q? 13 point? Alright. What is the unit? So the unit is MVAR, megavolt ampere reactive. Okay. Now the question is, I want the power factor to be 0.85. So you got it? Oh. Anyway, I want the 0.85. So if it is 0.85, will the line be lower or above? So let's say something like this. Okay. So this is cos inverse 0.85. The question now is where it touches here, how much is this one? Then this one remaining part is actually what is your capacitor rating to reduce that. Okay. So how much is this one? So cos inverse 0.85, you have to kind of repeat that problem. You will get this length. Then subtract it from 13.3, then you will get something maybe 2.2 or 3.4 or something like that. This small value. That will be your capacitor, which will reduce the power factor. Okay. So one straightforward question is, what is the rating of the capacitor for getting power factor equal to 1? So then you can say same 13.3 MVAR capacitor if you put, that will cancel the inductor and then the power factor is 1. But here the question is to get the power factor to 0.85 line. So shall we go to the next one? Okay, I'll just. Okay, so I like this question. So fourth question. So it's a simple circuit. So this is a AC. So there is a V and then frequency. So this particular source, I can change the frequency also. So I can set how much frequency I want. So that is the basis of the question actually. So there is some impedance. So this is the current is I. Okay. So now if I make a small table, VI, sorry, I'll put the frequency, then I, and then P and Q. So first case, I'll apply 10 volts AC with the 25 hertz frequency. So I'll apply 10 volts with 25 hertz frequency to some impedance. Okay. Then I find that the current is 100 milliamperes. Okay. In the second case, I'll take 10 volts and then apply 75 hertz. Okay. In that case, I find the current is 60 milliamperes. Okay. In the third case, I'll apply 10 volts, 50 hertz. Okay. So in that case, you will have to calculate what is the current. Also, in all these three cases, you will have to calculate what is your power in all these three cases. Okay. So this is the question. Also, there is one more question. This we are talking about this impedance. So this impedance, what is the R value and what is the L value? How much is the inductance in henries or millihenries or whatever? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, you take 2 minutes to even you can discuss and then try to solve this. Uh, okay, I want to just give you one clue because it might take long time if you want to solve it on your own. So the clue is like this: assume that R value is equal to some variable small r, and then assume that the reactance X is equal to some small x, but this is applicable at only 25 hertz. So X at 25 hertz is the small x. So then what is your Z or impedance? That is your R square plus X square under root. Okay. Because you know V and I, you can know what is Z, and then you can find out like these two unknowns are there, R and X. Now in the case of 75 hertz, what happens? In the case of 75 hertz, what happens? This X will become 3X. R will be same. Okay. So R will be still be R. So in that case, what will be your impedance at 75? This is impedance at 25. So this will be R square plus 3x whole square or 9x square or something like that. Okay. So two unknowns are there and then two equations are there. You can find out what is R and X. and then in the case of this one, X will be 2X. The reactance will be 2X because 50. So that is the trick in this. Because the frequency is 3 times, so it is 3x. So let me write down. So question is, how is it 3x? So x is 2 pi f into L. So L is fixed because L depends on the dimensions, materials and all. So if frequency is 3 times, x is 3 times. Okay, so let me quickly solve this. First is question is, what is your impedance? Okay, impedance is what, V by I. So 10 by 100 milliamperes. So am I getting a call? It's from IIT only. Yeah, I'm in LH1. I'm in the lecture. Okay. LH1 current. So, what is Z here? Or V by I? So 10 by 100 milli. So that will be 100 because this will be 3 and then it will be 100. Yeah. So 100 ohms. In this case, 10 by 60. How much? Yeah, 166.6. So now what I can do is square of that. So 100 square equal to R square plus X square. 166 square equal to R square plus 9X square. Okay, and then I can cancel this. So this will be some number. This will be minus 8x square equal to some minus some number. So minus will cancel, 8 will divide, square root will go, you will get the x. That x will be the x at the 25 hertz. Then 3 times that will be x at 75, 2 times that will be x at this one 50. Then you can find with that r and x you can find the z. Then 10 by that z you will get the current here. And then all this how to calculate p, q and all, because r, x and z, multiply all with I, you will get vr, vx and vz and then p and q. Or I square r is p or something like that. And if you want to find r, you substitute the x in this and then find r and so on. Okay. All right, the next one. Oh. All right, the next one, something very similar. I have this AC supply and then a simple R and C. R and C, and then just an AC supply. So this is 240 volts and then 50 hertz. Okay, and then the given data is power is 300 watts. Power supplied by the source is 300 watts, and then voltage across resistance. So I connect a voltmeter here, VR. Voltage across resistance is 100 volts. So the question is what is value of C and then maximum energy in C. So the energy in C keeps on changing because it is charging, discharging, charging, discharging and so on. So at one point there will be a maximum energy in C. So what is that? This is actually easier than some of the previous ones, so give it a try. So you need to think about how these two are related, VR and P. So this is actually PR, power in the resistance, because there is no power in the capacitance consumed in that. So see, I'll give you 2 more minutes, but then I want this answer to be completely solved by you. I'm only solving all the problems. So some of you from your side, I want you to get the final C value and energy and all that. Now I can speak. So, so it's not that difficult. Simply see. So V of resistance into current is nothing but P of resistance. So IR is 3 amperes, and then Z is V by I. So 240 by 3, 80 ohms. Okay. And then what is R? I square R is P. So 3 square into R is 300. So R will be 300 by 3 into 3. That will be 33.33. Okay. Then I'll get X. X will be 80 square minus 33.33 square under root. So you will get some X, and then that will be 1 by 2 pi f c. That will be the X. So X you know, 2 pi f you can see, you have to find out. So C will be 1 by 2 pi f into X. So this X you already calculated here. The X will come here, F is 50 given, 2 pi, then you will get the value of C. Okay. And then what is V max? So first of all you have to find VC, voltage of capacitance in RMS. What is the voltage of capacitance in RMS? So this I know 100 given in the question, this I know 240 given in the question. So 240 square minus 100 square under root, this will be the voltage of capacitor, which is the RMS value. So multiply that, like VC max will be root 2 into VC. You will get the maximum voltage of the capacitor, and then the energy stored in the capacitor will be half into CV square, CV max square. So half you know, C you calculated here, V max you calculated here, then you can calculate the energy stored. So if you take care properly the units and all, everything will be fine. This will come some 10 to the power of minus 6, so you can convert into micro and that kind of thing. So okay, this is the answer for this question, which is not completely solved, but yeah. So we are running out of time. I have more interesting questions coming up. So, all right, let's do the 6th question. I'll write down the question here. I'll leave the answer. Hertz, and then before you note down, I'm asking you a question. Suppose I take this, okay, and there is a coil which has resistance also. There is a small resistance in this, and then there is a inductance in this. Okay. Now the question is, if I have a iron core inside this, in the case with iron core, is the inductance more or the inductance more without the iron core? Yeah, so with iron core the inductance is more. Okay, so why is that and all is a different interesting question, but we will not go into that. So now what I will do is, I will take two cases, the same circuit, everything same, except that there is no core in the second case. So 200 volts and then 50 hertz. Okay, so in this case the current, so I take a coil with the core, connect the supply like this. What is the current? So the current is 4 amperes. Okay, so then I can actually simply remove the core, the same coil. Okay, the core is removed, then suddenly the current decreases or increases? Increases. How many say increases? Increases. So because the core is removed, the inductance reduces, therefore current increases. Okay, so 25 amperes. Suddenly current jumps from 4 amperes to 25 amperes. Okay, So if you are walking somewhere and you find a coil with the core and all, if you take out the core, the current will suddenly increase and it will maybe start burning. So it is not the good thing to do. Now the question is like this. So question is like this: find iron loss in case A and then copper loss in case A. So let's consider this is A and B. So in the case A, what is iron loss? What is the copper loss? That is the question. So if this question is given, how will you solve it? So I am giving a circuit like this, same supply, same frequency, same everything, only the current is increasing. So the questions are this. I'll give you a hint to help you. So the hint is like this. So a coil with a core and a coil, okay, this will translate into some R plus Jx. This will translate into some R plus Jx. So here it will be x1, here it will be x2. R will be same in both the cases. Okay, this is just a clue that I am giving you how to work out this. I don't know whether this clue is correct or wrong after I give that. Actually, it is wrong. Let me make it 1 and 2. R also will change, but then what is that R and all that you have to see. So I can write it this one R2 plus R. So this R is the regular resistance and this R is accounting for the iron losses. Anyway. Okay, I'll answer that. So the question is, why should R change? Why not maintain the same R? Okay. So it is only a trick that we are using for representing the losses in the iron core. So what happens is, if I put the iron core and put the AC circuit, what happens? There is a positive cycle, there is a negative cycle, there is a positive cycle, there is a negative cycle. When there is a positive cycle, the magnetic field will be in one direction. When there is a negative cycle, the magnetic field will be reverse direction, and so on. Every cycle, the magnetic field in this material is reversing every time. So inside the molecules and all, they keep reversing every time. That will generate some friction and heat and everything. That is the iron loss. Okay. Now mathematically, how you want to represent the iron loss? If I want to write I want to draw a circuit like this, impedance. Okay, something like this. Here, this is the electrical circuit. I don't want to draw the iron bar in this or something like that. This is an electrical circuit. There should be some variable to account for the magnetic losses. But then this is electric circuit. So I'll put some R. That R is representing the losses in the iron. There is another R. That R is actually the rho L by A kind of thing, the resistance of the copper itself, wire itself. So there is one mathematical R and one actual R. Okay. So that's the whole point of this question actually. Anyway, I'll go ahead and quickly try to solve this. What is the impedance in the first case? ZA. Impedance in the case A is 200 divided by 4 V by I. So that will be 50 ohms. Okay. What will be the impedance in the second case? That will be 200 divided by 25. That will be 8 ohms. What next? I have to give power also. Now it is more clear. So I think I did not write down this. Yeah. So what happens is, in the first case the power is 400 watts, in the second case 4000 watts. So now what that is what is measured. Like you put a wattmeter here and measure how much power is going and how much power is going here. So without that actually you cannot solve it. So it's okay. So now. So PA is 400. So what is RA? R resistance in the case of A will be P square by I. 400 square by 4. Sorry. P by I square. So 400 square by 16. How much is that? 25 ohms. Okay. This is 50 ohms and this is 25 ohms. So I can find the X in that case. Okay. What is R in the case of B? P by I square again. So this time P is 4000 and then I is 25 square. So how much is this? 4000 by 25 square. Eight ohms, yeah. 6.4. I thought I heard 8. Okay. So now in the case of the first one, so if you look at the 6.4, the 6.4 is purely the copper related resistance. Okay. Whereas here the resistance mathematically is coming to 25. So the resistance component for the iron loss is actually only 6.4 because that will be there and the remaining. So R copper is nothing but 6.4 ohms. R iron, so resistance which represents the iron will be 25 minus 6.4. So that will be how much? 18.6 ohms. So this 18.6 ohms is a imaginary resistance which represents the iron losses in the case of this one. Okay. Now I can calculate the let's say P iron in the case A. That will be 18.6 into 4 square, I square into R, and then P copper in the case A, that will be 6.4 into 4 square. Okay. So these two in addition will again come back to your 400 watts. So what is happening is in this first case you are sending 400 watts, but the 400 watts is consumed by both the coil is getting heated and the core is also getting heated. So there are losses in both places, and that is in this division. So like that. So you might have seen the transformer and all. So in the transformer there is some R and all. So that is just a mathematical R to represent the losses in the core of the transformer. So something like that. Okay, we have maybe 10 more minutes, so we'll try to push 2 questions in that 10 minutes. So let's go to 7th one. So I'll. Okay, the question is like this. This is very kind of fundamental conceptual kind of question for the power systems side actually. So there are two sources, E1 and E2. So E1 is 100 at angle of 0 degrees. So here I am generating 100 volts at like voltage is this much, and then E2 is also 100 volts, but the angle is 30 degrees. Okay. Two sources are connected by one impedance in between. Okay, and this is resistance is not there, just 5 ohms reactance. Okay, so XL is 5 ohms, and my assumed direction of current is like this, I. This is the direction of current I am assuming. This is source 1, this is source 1, source 2. Okay, this time I did not miss any data. So now the question. So source 1, source 2. The question is like this, P consumed, okay, Q consumed, and then even our impedance, okay, what is the P consumed and Q consumed. So if it is supplied, then it is minus, and if it is consumed, then it is plus. So you can think about that like that. I think this much is the question. So what is all this? So if I add all these things, source 1 is consuming or supplying some power, source 2 is consuming or supplying some power, and then impedance is some consuming. Actually, it is not consuming anything because it is 0. So this number I can directly write 0. So if I add all these things, power consumed and power supplied, so this total should come to 0. Like if I do it with the proper plus minus signs, this also should come to 0. Okay. So the question is, what are these 5 numbers? So these are my directions of E1, E2, I, and so on. This question is important because all the time what happens in our this is a transmission network of one region, is another transmission network of another region, and then I am connecting these two transmission networks with a line. Always there is a question whether the power is flowing from upwards or downwards, like what is the direction of the power. So this is something similar. So there is one location here, one location here, I am connecting them, how the power is flowing. What defines the direction of the power? Direction of the P, direction of the Q, and so on. Okay, again have a look here. So at this point there is some voltage, let's call it V1, At this point there is some voltage, let's call it V2, and the current is I. So V12 or like V1 minus V2 divided by this J5. So this will be J5 because reactance. So that will give me what is the value of I. Okay, so I know everything. So I will be so this one minus this one divided by J5. Okay, so to do this subtraction I need to convert into rectangular form, then I do the subtraction and then I divide by this. So for division you need polar form and then you do the division, and then finally you can get I value in some polar form and then some rectangular form. So you have to calculate the I value. Okay, right now let's call it I is equal to IA plus J IB. Okay, so this is what is this IAIB? You have to solve that using your calculator and all. Okay, once you get this IAIB, now the important point or the conceptual part and all. So it is the notation is something like this. So V into I conjugate. Okay, this will be your S. Okay. S is a complex number, V is a complex number, I is a complex number. So conjugate means the imaginary component you reverse the sign. This is the general formula for what is the S. But the problem is you need to know what is the direction of the I, direction of the V and so on. Okay. So for that you consider a box kind of thing. So take a box, inside that box you put the V. Okay. And then two wires come out. So this is your V which is inside the box. Okay. Then this is plus and minus, that positive and negative direction. Then the current direction should go into the box at the positive side. Okay. In that case your S will be consumed. Why is it like that? Just example lies like this. So consider a DC example, 5 volts DC plus minus, and then 2 amperes is flowing into the 5 volts. Okay. In this case the battery is charging. If the 2 amperes is going outside, the battery is discharging. So in this case the battery is charging. That means the power is being consumed in this case. Okay. The same notation we use here also. Take the V plus minus, and then if the I is going inside, then it is consumed. Okay. Now it turns out that S value is negative. Then it is actually produced. Okay. So and what is S? V into I conjugate. Okay. So let's apply that. Okay. Suppose now I want the source 1. Okay. S1. So how will I get? I know what is V. 100, 0 degrees. So this is 1. Now what I should I use? Because the I is going outside the box, so I want like if I consider a box like this, I have to just use the minus I. Okay. So use minus and then whatever you get, IA minus J IB, whatever IA IB values you get here, you do like this and then make the conjugate of this. So when you make the conjugate, this will become plus again. Okay. Then this is 100 plus J0, then you multiply, then you will get the value of S. Okay. And that number you directly copy here, and the reactive number you can directly copy here. That is your answer. Okay. I think we are almost done. So similarly S2, in the case of S2 what you will do? Vi star again. Here we don't have to put minus for the I because I is already there. So same 100 angle 30 degrees and then plus IA plus JIB, okay, something like this. Okay. My problem 8 was if it is instead of J5, if it is a resistance 5 ohms. So this is your problem 8. Solve everything just thinking that it is 5 ohms resistance. So in that case you will get some power here, you will get 0 here, and then still the total should add up and everything should become 0. So You can try that. Okay. So I think we'll stop with that 8 questions description. So it is very important that some of you might find it very difficult to understand all these things immediately. So just go home, relax, and then again, once again, just review it. In the meantime, I'll try to write it down in this thing and then also send it the questions. Okay. So we'll meet next Thursday.